Jesus spoke, entreating them to live together in a great circle of love. And when his followers asked him then who should be included, Jesus said, let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle. Oligarchs and tyrants try to keep some in and everyone else outside, till revolution sweeps across the land and the people all stand and the common folk cry, let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle. Sometimes a circle is a class or creed. Sometimes a circle is made of only men. Until Susan B. Anthony says, what about me? Let me in, let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle. Sometimes a circle is a privileged thing, excluding people for the color of their skin, until the voice of Martin Luther King says, let freedom ring, let them in, let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle. Gay and straight, rich and poor, whole and broken, open up that door. The more we are, the greater we become. After all, we all are one. Bring in the people, but don't stop there. Bring in the fish in the sea and the birds in the air. Bring in the rivers wide and the mountains tall. We go together, not at all. Let everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle.
As long as I can remember, there were only two ways to go. One was along the old school highway, the other was the wrong road. But some things come clearer as I fill another page. The right to be yourself and happy, gifts that God gave. Let us dance for love while we search for the truth. May God bless us, everyone, in the folly of our youth. May we find our way to be our own, and that there's no angry Father waiting when we get home.
Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church of Shreveport. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or there online, we're really glad you're here. Whatever your age, ability, origin, gender identity, race, sexual orientation, or background, if you want to worship with us, you are welcome. Thank you, Ava. Here we think of worship in terms of the Old English roots of the word, which is worthship, to lift up and contemplate matters of worth. In this congregation, our matters of worth are many and varied, but we like that. And we're united not by a creed, but by a covenant, by the promises that we make to each other to listen, to learn from each other, and to work together for a better world. If you're visiting for the first time, we'd ask that you fill out one of the blue visitor cards in the pew pocket in front of you. Good morning, Ivy. And or you could go online and find the link to the visitor log. Our links this morning may be posted after the service. so stick around on Facebook and you can learn all kinds of things about All Souls. Our minister is the Reverend Barbara Jarrell. She is this week away practicing her other profession as a singer-songwriter. She is at the mini version of the Kerrville Folk Festival, which is happening this weekend. And so we wish her well and look forward to her coming back. And the last song you heard was one of hers, No Angry Father. It's one of my favorites. Our ongoing and upcoming events were all on the great announcement slides made by Jennifer Russell that you saw before the service. But if you happen to miss them, they also play on a loop out in the foyer, or of course you can always play the Facebook recording over again. I'll now invite our board person of the day, Rebecca Tuggle, who is our board treasurer, to highlight a few of those announcements.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good to see y'all here, and of course everybody out there in Facebook land. Our volunteer of the month for this month is Noah Gerald Wagstaff. Give him a big round of applause. Because Noah does a lot, and Noah has been in this congregation for most, if not almost all of his life. But he embodies those UU principles that we're here to uphold and protect, especially with all of his talents that he uses to teach middle school and high school religious education here. He's been doing that for quite a while, but he's always been a big supporter of All Souls. And so let's give him another round of applause because he's Volunteer of the Month for the month of October. Right. Now, our giveaway the plate this month is North Louisiana Interfaith, which is one of our partners as far as the social justice types of things that we do. They are very involved as far as voting rights, getting people out to vote, certain things in the legislature, things that we, tend to be focused on and find important, and they are out doing that work in the community along with us. And so we do give, they are someone that we give quite a bit of attention and time and money to. So anything that is not denoted as pledge is going to go this month to North Louisiana Interfaith. We have baskets, and of course, like I say, perspective. It's either at the back or the front of the sanctuary, depending on how you think about it. Yeah, there you go. As you leave. I need to get into that habit. As you leave. I like that. That's good. But as you leave, you can just drop those gently in the basket as we no longer pass those around. Building and grounds. Yes, should have been this Saturday, but we moved it to next Saturday, the 21st, because there was a wedding here yesterday, and they had to get in here and do their thing. So if you're not going to the retreat, and if you can at all be here to help, that would be wonderful, because we are the ones that take care of these building and grounds for the most part. So any help would be greatly appreciated. We are starting the 2024 pledge drive. I have got forms out in the foyer that are there on that table at the right-hand side next to the picture of the Liebers who founded this church. We need you right now more than we probably ever have before, and I know we probably say that every single year. But it is more striking now. than it ever has been. We are continuing to keep this congregation going. We know that we're going to have to move eventually, and we need as much help as we can get in that aspect. So anything that you're willing to provide, anything that you can give, we will greatly and truly appreciate. And we greatly and truly appreciate you being here and supporting us. So thank you very much.
Speaking of North Louisiana Interfaith, I've got these handy little cards that you can sign up for the Community Lighthouse launch. It is Thursday, November 2nd. Now, what would also normally be Thursday, November 2nd? Highland Blessing Dinner, that's right, thank you. And so what we are doing for the month of November only, we're going to switch with First Pres. So that as many of us as possible, because we're a little smaller than First Pres, so that as many of us as possible can be at the Community Lighthouse launch. And you'll probably remember the Community Lighthouses are going to be powered with giant solar batteries and are going to be places that when the power goes down, as it tends to do more and more often these days, that people will be able to go there, get warm, get cool, mostly get cool. I think most of this happens in the summer. Charge their phones, charge whatever they need. It will also be like a neighborhood outreach where volunteers will know the people in the neighborhood and will know who's got a CPAP, who's got a respirator, who's got meds that they really need to keep refrigerated, and get portable battery packs and things like that out to people. So it's a real... The solar part of it is very cool, and we were able to get American Rescue Plan money, ARPA money, because it's green infrastructure. So it's very cool, and we're very proud of that. And the people factor is also going to be really important, that the people in the neighborhoods, and the two pilot projects, one will be at Morningstar Baptist Church, and the other will be at the Highland Centers. So I'd love for you to take one of these little cards. Bob, if you'll. Thank you. And if I can get this right, I should have written it down. If you don't want to fill out the card, you can also go on your phone to nlawinterfaith.org/nov2. In other words, northlouisianainterfaith.org. So nlawinterfaith.org/NOV2. And that should take you to a registration page. Somebody do it and see if I was right. One more time. NLA Interfaith, INTERFAITH.org/NOV, like November, NOV2. I think that was right. So make plans to be there that night, and the more people we have committed to bring 35 people. So we'd love to do more than that, but we definitely would love to get our 35. So as we enter the spirit of worship, I invite you to turn off or silence all your electronic devices, to be present here in this place, in this moment. When I was growing up in the Catholic Church, I can remember a lot of Sundays where the priest would read a letter from the bishop or a letter from the Pope. The UUA doesn't have a bishop or a pope, but we do have a wonderful new president the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. For those of you who are new to Unitarian Universalism, we're not a hierarchical faith. The UUA is a resource for us, but often, so often, a very helpful one. Anyway, Reverend Dr. Betancourt has written this letter about the conflict between Israel and Hamas, and I would like to read it to you. Beloveds, I invite you to stop what you are doing if you can, and sit with me in the depth of this tragedy. How to reconcile the cost of occupation and of war, how to nuance two very real histories of oppression and violence. I am holding close the words of UN Middle East peace envoy Tor Winnesland, who said, "This is a dangerous precipice, and I appeal to all to pull back from the brink." We, as a people of faith, can condemn violence against civilians while at the same time engaging the full legacies and histories of oppression that shaped such devastating conflict. As a faith tradition, Unitarian Universalists have long worked for peace, and our principles and values call for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. At the same time, we have not engaged the tangled issues surrounding Israel and Palestine in communities since 2018, and our last engagement resulted in severed relationships and deep pain. I pray for the people of Israel and Palestine. I pray for leaders around the globe who must respond to this latest flare of violence and the untenable ethical considerations that abound. I pray for Muslim and Jewish UUs who experience the impact of this long strife acutely. I pray that those of us less likely to know the trauma of unending brutality and harm will not turn away from generational loss, from the devastating realities and their root causes, or from the relentless tragedy of war and occupation. Be gentle with yourselves when you need to be, but do not turn away unless you must. We are one global family, living tenuously on the same human-impacted earth. Let us center ourselves in justice as we call for peace. Will you sing with me, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are," by the poet Rumi? Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. From James Luther Adams, the 20th century Unitarian theologian, a living tradition is not bequeathed through some law of inheritance. It must be earned, not without dust and heat, and not without humbling grace. Would someone like to help me with the chalice lighting this morning? Thank you. And if we can get the spotlight on them as well. Thank you. Oh. Uh-oh. It's one of those ones. All right. Ready? Replace spotlight.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, good.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other.
Thank you. You want to light? I'm hoping it will light. We may need to fix our chalice, but try it. See what happens. There you go. Oh, look at you. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate it. From Vanda Scaravelli, a rigid mind is very sure, but often wrong. A flexible mind is generally unsure, but often right. Spirit of life and love, grant us the courage to be vulnerable, to know that we are often wrong, and the wisdom to amend our mistakes and find new ways of being. May the grace of Spirit bless us with humility for self-examination and bravery for a lifetime of transformation. Will you rise in body or spirit and join me for the unison affirmation? And I'm going to ask you at the end of it to do something a little different, but you can just repeat after me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. And repeat after me, and when we fall short of these, our lofty promises, and when we fall short of these, our lofty promises, love will call us back. Love will call us back. Thank you. And thanks to Bob Jordan, this morning we're going to sing This Little Light of Mine. Kevin, can you do me a big favor? Can you run down and get y'all's covenant? Thank you. I forgot. I meant to bring one of them down here, and I forgot. So first of all, And I'm going to ask the kids first, what's a covenant? A promise. Really good. Really good. And what kind of a promise is it? Is it a promise you make to yourself? It's a promise you make to everybody, whoever the group is, right? Whoever, whether it's your religious education class, whether it's a meeting, whether it's the congregation, right? And, oh my goodness. We're getting the easel and everything. That's awesome. That's okay. I am happy. And this is our volunteer of the month, by the way, Noah Wagstaff. Noah Gerald Wagstaff. Thank you. This is great. So this is their classroom covenant. And how do y'all make the covenant? How do you make it? Does the teacher just write, well, these are the rules and this is how it's going to be? No. How do you do it? You share ideas together. That's right. And so you've got be nice to each other. And I guess y'all talked about kind of what that means, what behaviors that would entail. Take turns speaking. Share materials, toys. Keep your hands to yourself. Oh, this is the younger class. Okay. Help your friends and others. So then look what everybody did. They signed it. They signed the covenant because they all bought into it, right? They all said, this is the way we'll be together. And so they signed the covenant. Well, guess what? Our principles are a covenant. So what happens with the covenant from year to year? Does it stay absolutely the same? No. What happens? It changes because there might be different people. Different things might happen. And adults do this too in our adult religious education. Periodically, we look at the covenant and say, this is all of this part is still good, but we need to maybe add this, maybe add this other thing. Maybe we don't really need this thing we thought we needed or whatever. So everybody kind of looks at it together. And we do that, like in religious education, they might do it every week. They might do it when a newcomer comes so that they kind of know what's going on and they might have suggestions they want to give. But right now, our association, the whole Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, we're revisiting our covenant. And what is our covenant? What is the covenant of the UUA? What's the other name we call it? The principles. Thank you. So right now, we're in a 3-year process of revisiting and revising the principles. And also the sources, which are the things that we draw wisdom from, the things that we learn from. And so this is a process that's been going on. Congregations have had input. It's been at General Assembly, at our big meeting at General Assembly. They voted to push it forward to the final vote, but it's a 3-year process, so it's gone through the 2nd year, so the final vote comes up this year. But it's very much like a big version of sitting in your class going, does this covenant still work for us? What do we need to change? So, I don't know. Personally, I think it's kind of cool that the same thing that happens at that little place also happens at the big, and I mean, I say big. We're not big compared to a lot of others, but it's big compared to the little. Anyway, so we're going to let y'all get on to your classes and take another look at your covenants. And I guess Mr. Noah or Mr. Kevin, if one of y'all will carry the easel back, I really appreciate it. And we'll sing them out. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. Thank you. You want to carry that to class? Love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. In light of the heartbreaking events in our world right now, that are ongoing. Bob called and asked if he could sing this song this week, and I didn't hesitate to say yes. And I thank you, Bob, for the idea.
This is a song I learned a long time ago, but I had a dream about singing it because I think it's to the point of what we're experiencing now. Last night I had the strangest dream I never dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty room. The room was full of women and men, and the paper they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the papers were all signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round, and swords and guns and uniforms were scattered on the ground. A cappella. Last night I had the strangest dream I never dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war.
I ask that you join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer that Bob so beautifully prepared for us. Take a deep breath and let it out, and for a moment, let yourself be still. Spirit of life and love, we know that our prayers for peace and our cries for justice come from a place of privilege, far away from the horrors experienced now by so many. We pray for discernment and clarity, that in our limited capacity, our thoughts and actions might be channeled as best we can toward the cause of peace, toward the interest of justice for all people, toward repair and restoration, even when the very words seem like mere dreams. Centering always in love and justice, in the hope of raising our voices for good, we now carry these hopes into the silence. So I have to credit Jennifer Russell, who we were at the radio station yesterday, reminded me, I didn't know how to open this sermon, and she reminded me of the exact way to open this sermon. Right before Easter of 2020, some of our neighbors in the bluffs over here drew a beautiful, beautiful stained glass cross on our side of the fence. We loved it. We thought it was incredibly seasonally appropriate. I mean, this literally was Holy Week, the week of Easter. And we thought we could add to it and make it more inclusive and more representative of us. I took a picture of it and posted on our Caring Connection Facebook group and said that I was getting out the sidewalk chalk, and anybody that wanted to join me was welcome, and they could come and add more religious symbols and other words and pictures. And I'm sorry, I don't have the slide today. I meant to find it and add it. But I told them I was going to be here. So we were masked and distanced, working in different parts of the fence. This small but hearty band, it was Jennifer and her kids and Ash McLean and myself. And we set about to create what we thought was a multi-faith masterpiece on this fence. There was a chalice, of course. There was an a Star of David, a Muslim crescent, and messages of love and hope. It was beautiful, and we were really happy with it. And then I went back into the office, and there was a phone message. I'm looking for someone from the church to call me back. My daughter and I made a drawing on our fence for Easter, and I think people from your church have defaced it. I immediately called her back and apologized for any distress, gently pointing out that we loved their drawing on our side of the fence, and we thought it was inspiring and beautiful, and we hadn't intended to deface it at all, but to add to it and to make it more inclusive of everyone in the community. And we did not, nobody drew on the cross itself, just around it. She was not comforted by this. And I'll spare you the story of the scrubbing that later ensued in the spirit of Easter renewal rather than property line squabbling. I mean, did they levitate onto our property? But I won't go there. But in her distress, she said, I don't really know anything about y'all's church. I mean, I know that you love everybody. And she said it in just that tone. I know that you love everybody. And it probably didn't help the situation at all that I said, oh, ma'am, if that's all you know about our church, I am absolutely delighted. So in light of the fact that we love everybody, and that even people who aren't all that fond of it to know that, why is it all these years the word love has not appeared in our foundational covenant? Take a look, and I'll have the principal slide. Oh, yeah, thank you. There are lots of good words: inherent worth and dignity, justice, equity, compassion, encouragement. And you have a handout, because I know this print is more for folks at home, because I know this is too small to see in here. Encouragement, spiritual growth, world community, peace, liberty, interdependence. But where's the love? You have to get to the sources to find it. In our Jewish and Christian heritage, Jewish and Christian teachings that remind us that loving others is loving God. So in the same way that here in our various classes and meetings, we make covenants, and then from time to time, and sometimes week to week, and sometimes whenever newcomers come, and sometimes when we remember to think about it, we revisit those covenants to make sure they're still relevant to who we are and what we're doing. Our Unitarian Universalist Association also revisits our covenant every 15 years, and we are now 2 years and change into that 3-year process. The words that we call the principles and sources are actually a part of Article 2 of the UUA bylaws. So yeah, you've come today to hear a sermon about a bylaws revision. Woohoo! Yeah. As with our congregations and smaller groups, this revisiting process seeks the input of all concerned, down to the congregational and even individual level. And we did several sessions on this in the adult religious education. And the changes passed at this past summer's General Assembly by a margin of 1,816, or 86.3%, to 289, or 13.7%. This does not mean that the revisions will be accepted, only that they go forward to the 2024 General Assembly, where they will need a 2/3 majority to pass. So let's take a look at what we're talking about here. These are going to be called our values, and the graphic that you see here, the flower graphic, is a part of the statement, and the statement reads, "As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We're accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love." And so, as I said, the graphic is a part of the statement. On the second page of the handout, you see the graphic and the entire statement together. It's circular because we consider these values as integrated parts of a whole rather than a hierarchical list. However, you'll also note that interdependence is at the top. And when these values are listed with elaboration, interdependence comes first. So right away, there's a difference in that we're striving to achieve more of a balance between the focus on the community and the focus on the individual. The principles, as they currently are, start with the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and that's important. And that's not going to get lost here. It's still going to be here. But we're starting with interdependence. So if you're looking at the first page of the handout, you'll see the current principles side by side with the one-word values and the elaboration of each. And so I'd just like to go through on the screen. Okay, yeah, we're doing okay. I want to go through these and just show you where you can find the original principles. Because a lot of times we've heard, why are we getting rid of the principles? We're not, okay? It's like, what was it, Prego, that one of the spaghetti sauces? It's in there. They're in there, I promise. So let's look at the first one, interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. We covenant to cherish Earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. So right there, you've got the 7th, interdependent web, and the 6th, goal of world community. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships. So there you've got the 7th, again, interdependence. Also the 8th, to dismantle systemic racism. Pluralism is the next value. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. That's the first principle. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. That's 3 and 4. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. That's 6, 7, and 8. And under justice, we work to be a diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. Again, the 8th principle. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions. You've got the 8th and the 5th. And finally, transformation. And this is new. We really didn't have transformation before, just like we didn't have love. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. There's the 3rd. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. You have the third, and you have, as I said, something brand new. Oh, and that wasn't finally, we've got two more. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. So the seventh principle, and also something new, putting the focus on generosity. And the next one is equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. So you've got the second for the justice, equity, and compassion, and you've got the first. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Right there, you've got 1, 2, 7, 8, and something new. Accessibility. Something we've been kind of thinking about, right? And we're not going to look at all of Article 2 today because there are revisions to the purposes and to the inclusion statement, which are also a part of Article 2. And after the service, I'm going to post a bunch of links. So if you really want to go deep into this, you'll have a chance to do that. But I wanted to give you the words because other than an adult RE, we really haven't dealt with these changes as a congregation so much. And so I'm kind of anxious to hear your take. I will briefly hit on the sources. The current sources, we have direct experience of the transcending mystery and wonder, the words and deeds of prophetic people, the wisdom from the world's religions, Jewish and Christian teachings that we talked about before, humanist teachings and what we learned from science, earth-centered traditions. And then there's a statement, grateful for the religious pluralism which enriches and ennobles our faith, we're inspired to deepen our understanding and expand our vision. As free congregations, we enter into this covenant, promising to one another our mutual trust and support. In the revisions, we now have the inspirations. And the wording there is, as Unitarian Universalists, we use and are inspired by sacred and secular understandings that help us to live into our values. We respect the histories, contexts, and cultures in which they were created and are currently practiced. These sources ground us and sustain us in ordinary, difficult, and joyous times. Grateful for the religious ancestries we inherit and the diversity which enriches our faith, we're called to ever deepen and expand our wisdom. And a non-UU who attends our adult religious education class has said that she prefers the current sources because they give her a clearer and more specific idea of what we draw from for our study and for our spiritual inspiration. I understand that perspective, but I also like the broader approach of inspirations, particularly the emphasis on respecting the histories, the context, and the cultures in which they were created and in which they are currently practiced. I think that expresses the way in which, as a faith, we have tried to mature in our approach to other traditions, that we seek to learn respectfully rather than just recklessly borrow. I mean, if you've been in a UU church for a number of years, you probably saw some reckless borrowing along the way. And we're, when you know better, you do better, and we've really been trying to do better. So what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, thumbs up, I like that. I honestly have no idea how the vote will go this summer, even though it seems like it's a shoo-in, right? Because you saw the 86%. But even though those changes passed by an overwhelming margin, a lot of the people who voted to pass them on said they still maybe weren't quite convinced, but they thought that the work of the Article 2 Commission deserved a shot, deserved the chance to go forward and be heard by the Assembly. So, we're going to see how it goes. And I want to address a question that may be on your mind. In 2020, our youth did an incredible job of introducing you to the eighth principle, after which we had religious education at all age levels on why it was important to adopt the eighth principle, as a sign of our continued commitment to anti-racist work. And at our virtual congregational meeting in December 2020, we became what I believe at the time was the 26th congregation to adopt the eighth principle. So there weren't very many at that time. And I want you to know that Paula Cole-Jones, who is one of the authors of the eighth principle, she, along with Bruce Pollock Johnson, wrote it. She's a member of the Article 2 Study Commission. And she said kind of the same thing I said earlier. It's in there. I heard her speak at our last year's Loretta conference, and she said, that's the Liberal Religious Educators Association. And she said, it's in there. It's in there. And she said, too, that she is proud of the work that she and the commission have done. And the links I will post, again, after the service will tell you kind of who the people on the commission are, their process, a lot of things that, I would be way in the weeds if I went through all of that up here. And also, the current 8 principles are still our principles right now. Right now, we have 2 classes in the back focusing each week on a principle, and that's a good thing. We don't have to lose them, even if the Article 2 revisions pass. If these are foundational statements to your personal faith, they can still be that. And just remember, even as you're feeling nostalgic about these 8, that pretty much nobody gets nostalgic about the original 1961 principles of the newly merged UUA. Would you like to go back and talk about the brotherhood of man or men of goodwill? We learn, we move on. So we'll provide a link to that too. And finally, every Sunday, this congregation and many others throughout the country, and for that matter around the world, say some variation of our unison affirmation, originally written by the Universalist Reverend Griswold Williams, that begins, how does it begin? Love is the doctrine of this church. So it only makes sense that we put love at the center. Our closing hymn, we would like to sing One More Step, and I'm going to invite Bob up here again. With the chair and the stands. And I'm not putting any surprise verses in this one. Will you rise in body or spirit? Take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word till every word was heard by everyone. We'll say one more. appreciate that. I asked Bob if he would come and play the other two songs too, because then it didn't have to be the Susan show, and I liked that. From Maureen Killeran, may we know this ending as more than a time of goodbye. May the warmth of this community and the memory of our chalice flames sustain our hearts, encourage our minds, and remind us to honor tradition even as we embrace change, as we engage the blessings of life's challenges, of life's heartbreaks and joys. Go in peace, go in hope, keeping love always at the center. Thank you.
Is there music?
ملح البحر النور والحقيقة في الصحو